Back in December 2023, I supported on Kickstarter the upcoming RTS Stormgate, made by people who worked on both Warcraft III and StarCraft II. Two games that I love, so I trusted these people, despite not really being hooked by the setting. Flash forward to the end of July 2024, where I finally got to play the early access of the campaign. I had huge expectations, and I was quite disappointed. But now that my feelings have cooled down, I decided to make a more constructive review of the campaign, in order to help FrostGen's devs to fix and improve it. First of all, FrostGen communicated that the cutscenes are currently using in-game models, which is why they have big eyes and no lip movement. I just wish they told us before by adding a big fat work in progress in a corner of the screen during said cutscenes. The environment and lighting of cutscenes also seems quite off, as if the two didn't match together, and the shaky cam is just very bad. Now, let's talk about the design of each mission. I have a problem with both no-build missions. Mission 1 gives us two heroes that we never use later, and a basic unit that we also never see again. The map is filled with energy recovery items, but Amara has only one ability in this mission, which she unlocks quite late. Mission 5 teaches us how to use Amara, but we had her for 5 missions, and I barely used her abilities because I didn't know how they worked. She's also the only unit we control in this mission. Let's take a look at Warcraft III. Human 1 taught us how to use Arthas and Footmen, plus gave us a variety of items that were immediately useful. Human 3 taught us how to use Jaina, Priests and Mortar teams, while presenting us Necromancers and Abominations for the enemy side. No-build missions serve as both palette cleansers to add variety, and they teach us in a controlled environment about our units and those of the enemy. However, Stormgate fails in that regard. It's a new IP, we're still learning the new units, both the ones we control and the ones we face. In my opinion, Mission 1 does an average job at teaching the player about basic mechanics, while Mission 5 ruins the pace of the campaign. I was finally getting comfortable with the Vanguard faction, but then I'm forced to only play with Amara that I never could for solo mission. This level could work better if it was earlier, to teach us how to use Amara's abilities. To finish on a positive note, I like that Mission 1 has 2 ending zones, while Mission 5 has dodgeable attacks, random rooms for each replay, and a bonus choice at the end of each of them. Mission 2 is very good. It teaches us about the Lancer and Exo units. There's many rewards for exploration. It's a very good second mission and build tutorial. I would say it's as good as similar missions in Warcraft and StarCraft. I just wish it also made an effort to teach the player about basic Infernal units. I played this mission twice, but I still don't understand what is the reward for completing the Sigma artifact objective. Mission 3 is a mixed bag. Its level design is good, bonus objectives are useful, exploration is rewarded with resource pickups and items. Each enemy base is specialized, there's an infantry, a mech and an aircraft base. However, it does a poor job at introducing new units. In the no-build section, we get to use a unit that we won't be able to build either in this mission or the next 3. But we do get 3 new units that don't get any introduction whatsoever. The Mech is quite self-explanatory, but the Hedgehog and the Vulcan, not so much. The Vulcan does get a focus at the start of Mission 6 to explain its jet boost ability, but it's way too late in the game. The Hedgehog's ability to shift between its ground anti-heavy attack and its anti-air attack is never explained. We also can capture the enemy mech bay, but we can't build one. Mission 4 is quite good. It starts with the west side of the base being attacked. If the player explores this part of the map, they will come across resource nodes to exploit, but it will require moving the defensive line. Deeper in southwest, we can find some neutral creep that once destroyed allows access to 3 flamethrower Vulcan variants, which is an amazing reward. There's additional bonus objectives and expansion points in the east and south that reward the player for moving outside their base. This mission also teaches us how to use the new Atlas unit. Overall, this was a perfectly designed mission. Mission 6 was good, going back to StarCraft II's level design, pushing the player to be aggressive early, punishing turtling. However, there's a bit too much micro to do between the lightning strikes, tornadoes and Malok's AoE attacks. The Vulcan's new jet boost ability is useful to open an explosion south of the player's base, but I haven't found any use for it in the rest of the mission. Being a fast moving vehicle, the Hedgehog should have been the unit introduced in this level. I really liked that the mission didn't just finish with taking all 5 objectives, but rather gave us a satisfying base attack with all our army for the conclusion. The big downside of this mission is that Amara can almost solo it. I understand that it's part of the story, but she's way too powerful. Overall, I think that the level design is good, but requires more focus. The first missions should teach us how to use Amara's abilities and our basic units. Start missions with a small no-build section that teaches the player about the new unit they unlocked, as well as the new enemy units they will face. On the bright side, I'm glad to see that some of the level design elements I brought up in my previous video were present. Exploration is rewarding and there's varied enemies. On a different topic, I am quite disappointed that the only meta element, the one that carries between missions, is Amara's inventory. Warcraft II offered varied items and the management of the hero's abilities. StarCraft II had unit upgrades and top bar powers. Dawn of Dark Crusade had hero war gear and honor guard units. These are elements that add depth to each playthrough and pushes to replay the campaign in different ways. I really hope that the devs will add such a system. It could be something as simple as top bar powers, starting a mission with the basic upgrades for a few units, or unlocking an improved version of a unit, like in co-op. When it comes to the story, it's a mixed bag. Levels are filled with logs that add nothing to the lore, with the exception of the very entertaining tabletop session Mission 3. I wasn't really impressed by the dialogues, but I will admit that Mage's Guild's lines in co-op made me laugh. I find Amara to be an interesting character, especially her relationship with Blockade. I am intrigued by the inner politics of the Infernals, and I am curious to see how the Celestials will be introduced. But for now, the world feels very small. Warcraft and StarCraft managed in their first missions to establish that it was a big universe with other people and places. I can't really remember the music, besides the amazing guitar riffs of the Infernals that played at the start of Mission 4. Other secondary problems are the lack of a pause option, no saving, thankfully there's a checkpoint system, and poor audio balancing. Units only have 2 lines of dialogue when they're moving, which is quickly boring, especially in Mission 5 when you only control Amara. In the first mission, because everyone had different move speeds, it was impossible to keep units information, especially Blockade, who, despite being a tank, always ended up being behind and stuck, unable to go melee. In Mission 3, reinforcements stopped me from attacking an enemy base. In conclusion, Stormgate is a good foundation, but it needs a lot more work and a lot more focus, especially when it comes to level design. The command is the core of any RTS. It's what new people will play first. It's what old players come back to regularly. I hope that this review will help fresh-end devs to fix the issues in the campaign and improve it to the quality standard they promised. I thank you for your time and I wish you a great day.